Titan has been a mainstay of summons since the series introduced the concept. While not as memorable or iconic as others, Titan is nonetheless an important member of the summon pantheon as the most prolific summon of Earth. The word Titan comes from the ancient Greek Titans, the gods that preceded the Olympian pantheon. The Final Fantasy Titan does not greatly resemble any of the Greek Titans, but he is likely influenced visually by the Olympian deity Atlas. Atlas sided with the Titans in the war between the Titans and Olympians, and as punishment was sentenced by Zeus to stand at the edge of the world and hold up the heavens on his shoulders. This is typically portrayed in the arts as Atlas holding a massive sphere on his back that represents the cosmos. Among other stories involving Atlas, he refused shelter to Perseus, believing he wished to steal his sacred golden apples, and Perseus retaliated by using Medusa's head to petrify Atlas, turning his body into a mountain. In Final Fantasy, Titan is a large, muscular man who wears little clothing, typically just a loincloth and bracelets or beads around his wrists and ankles. He has white or purple hair, and his skin tone is some shade of orange or brown, reflecting his association with Earth. In some depictions, Titan's body is misshapen with rough skin, to give the idea he is made of living rock, or he may have growths of stone emerging from his body. Titan has a degree of overlap with Golem, another recurring creature in Final Fantasy that is often a summon. Golem broadly refers to an animated being made of earthen materials, and in Final Fantasy, Golem is associated with Earth as well. Generally, Golem is more defensive, while Titan is more offensive, but as mentioned, there is overlap, and later games tend to put more emphasis on Titan as a defensive summon. Titan's signature attack is Gaia's Wrath, also known by synonyms such as Earthen Fury or Anger of the Land. The attack variably depicts Titan slamming the ground with a great jump or punching it with his fist, and the force either generates a shockwave or causes columns of earth to erupt beneath its foes. While Gaia's Wrath is powerful, and Titan is typically among the more powerful summons the player has access to when they acquire him, its nature as an earth-based attack means Gaia's Wrath tends to have no effect on floating and flying enemies. Titan otherwise fights by creating shockwaves and tremors, throwing boulders, and delivering powerful punches. Recurring abilities include Geocrush, Landslide, the Stone series of spells, and attacks that follow the theme naming of the land. Most games do not give Titan a significant story role, and some omit him entirely. While he returned to prominence in later games, which tend to have fewer summons but give them greater importance, he typically is only relevant for being the summon associated with Earth and has little impact on the narrative compared to other summons. He is spoken of as loyal and protective of his summoner and his followers, but is quick to anger and extremely dangerous when roused, and his destructive potential can impact the world outside of gameplay mechanics. Titan is usually a mid-tier summon, more powerful than the likes of Ifrit and Ramuh, but not as strong as Leviathan or Bahamut. Titan made its debut in Final Fantasy III, where the summon mechanic originated. He is called by the level 5 summon spell Hyper, and will either use Clobber, Stomp, or Earthen Fury. The former two deal single-target Earth elemental damage, and the latter deals Earth damage to all enemies. The Hyper spell can be purchased in either Repleto or Doga's village. An enemy called Titan also appears in the Ancient's Maze, but it is not the recurring summoned entity and is differentiated in Japanese by its name being spelled differently. Final Fantasy IV gives Titan a minor but impactful role early in the game. When Cecil and Kain accidentally unleash monsters that burn Rydia's village, Rydia summons Titan in her anger, and he creates an earthquake that collapses the mountains around the village, permanently cutting it off from the outside world and separating Cecil and Rydia from Kain. When Rydia returns later in the game as an adult, Titan is one of the new summons she was acquired. Her ability to summon Titan as a child is not explained, but the sequel, The After Years, acknowledges she has known Titan since she was a child, and the summoning was implicitly an isolated incident due to her emotional state. In the 2D versions of the game, Titan is the most powerful of Rydia's 6 summons she knows when rejoining the party, and his attack deals heavy non-elemental damage to all enemies. In the 3D versions, Titan's power is lowered to make him on par with Ramuh, Shiva, and Ifrit, and his attack deals earth elemental damage. In versions of the game featuring the Lunar Ruins, Titan, along with the mentioned trio of elemental Eidolons, leaves Rydia when she reverts to a child in her lunar trial. and the party must seek out Titan and defeat him in battle to restore Rydia's ability to summon him. Lunar Titan is the boss of Yong's Lunar Trial, and rewards the Martial Omelet, which changes Yong's focus command to the more powerful Deadly. Lunar Titan is able to use Earthquake, Stone Gaze, and Crush, an instant death attack. In the Interlude chapter exclusive to the PSP collection, Rydia's 4 elemental Eidolons are gathered by the Rydia imposter in the Tower of Babel, and he is acquired by defeating the Tunneler. Atop the tower, the imposter summons the Eidolons, including Titan, against the party when fought as a boss. Rydia's Eidolons are enslaved by the mysterious girl in the afteryears, and she summons Titan to attack Agot to close the crater entrance between the surface world and the underground. Rydia and Luca attack Titan to stop him, but they are overpowered and saved by the Man in Black. In the Gathering chapter, the party finds the mysterious girl at Agot, and she summons Titan against them, and this time the party is saved from Titan by Porum, who casts Float on them to render them immune to Titan's earthquakes. In the subsequent battle, Titan comes to his senses when defeated, and returns to Rydia's control. In Final Fantasy V, Titan is a boss fought by the party when they revisit the meteorites around the world to gather adamantite from them. Titan attacks from within the Karnak meteorite, and when defeated is obtained as a summon. Titan is one of 3 level 3 summons with Catawba Pass and Golem, and the most powerful offensive summon accessible until reaching the Merged World. A palette swap of Titan called Iron Muscles can be fought in the Fork Tower. Titan's summon materia in Final Fantasy VII is found at Gungaga's Mako reactor. In this game, its Anger of the Land attack is depicted as it grabbing a piece of earth from the ground and flipping it over on top of enemies. Titan is a personal favorite summon of magic effects designer Yasui Kentaro, due to the work that went into its animation. During the storyboard and design phase, the plan was for Titan to flip the same piece of earth each time. Kentaro thought this looked boring and put in extra work so that the slab Titan flips changes texture to match the ground of the current battlefield. Titan makes a minor appearance in Final Fantasy IX, as part of the summon animation for Eiko's Eidolon, Fenrir. Fenrir's summon attack, Terrestrial Rage, has Fenrir howl to call Titan from beneath the earth, and Titan's fist bursts through the ground to knock enemies into the air, dealing earth elemental damage. Titan is not named, and his existence is not even alluded to in-game, but supplementary materials specify that the being that appears with Fenrir is Titan. Early concept art shows Titan with a more conventional design that was ultimately unused. In the lore of Final Fantasy XI, the being called Titan was a member of a tribe of giants known as the Titans. The Titans lived in a forest on the southern edge of the world and were in conflict with the Hume city. While the Titans initially dominated the Humes due to their physical prowess, over time the Humes won through sheer numbers and the Titans died out. After the war had ended, a young girl named Daedalus wandered the battlefield and found a Titan that was still alive, and she took him to a cave to nurse him back to health, and the two became friends. Eventually the Humes found Titan and captured him to execute him, and Daedalus rushed to his side to support him as he knelt in pain. Daedalus prayed to the goddess Altana, and she responded by raising the two to the heavens in acknowledgement of their bond. This is why the brightest star in the Titan constellation is named Daedalus. As a summon, Titan boosts the defenses of nearby allies and can grant them defensive buffs with its ward abilities and Titan's favor. Its attacks can inflict Bind or Slow, which are respectively tied to Rock Throw and Rock Buster, and powered-up forms of these attacks. Its Astral Flow ability is Earth and Fury, which deals massive earth damage to nearby enemies. In Final Fantasy XII sequel, Revenant Wings, Titan is the rank 3 melee Earth summon. Its normal attack is Landslide and deals damage to enemies in a line, and its special attack, Gaia's Wrath, damages enemies and immobilizes them. Titan in the Final Fantasy XIII trilogy is a foul sea that exists on the surface of Grand Pulse, and is so large it eats adamantoises. Titan is tasked to oversee the ecosystem and create ever stronger monsters by pitting them against each other. Titan initially judges the party as weak, and to prove him wrong the party can undertake a series of missions collectively known as Titan's Trials that pit the party against enemies Titan has created. Upon defeating the superboss Atticus, Titan is impressed and acknowledges their strength. By the time of Lightning returns, Titan has lost his power and died, and pieces of him can be found across the Dead Dunes. with his hand in particular being used as a landmark. In 13.2, the boss Atlas is based on Titan but considerably smaller. Final Fantasy XIV once again features Titan as the Summon of Earth, and it is the patron primal of the kobolds known as the Lord of the Crags. The nearby city-state of Limsa Laminsa had made a pact with the kobolds to keep the peace, as long as they kept to their own lands, but they have broken the treaty, and so the kobolds have turned to summoning Titan to defend themselves. The Warrior of Light and the Scions of the Seventh Dawn are tasked to defeat Titan before it causes much destruction. Later, Titan is one of 3 primals, along with Garuda and Ifrit, to be absorbed into the Ultima weapon under the command of Gaius Van Belzar. During the boss battle with the Ultima weapon at the end of the base game's campaign, it is able to use Titan's abilities until it is weakened and Titan is set free. In the Shadowbringers expansion, as part of a plan to restore life to the First, new primals for each element are conjured using the Warrior of Light's memories of their encounters with them. However, their memories are distorted by their encounters with mechanical enemies created by goblinoid races, resulting in a manifestation of Titan that is a biomechanical creature with a construct of wheels on its back, which it can disassemble to reform around its hands as weapons, or turn into a vehicle it can ride on. When fought in the main questline, Titan can create shockwaves that cause the ground to crumble and shrinks the arena, and can knock players back off the edge of the arena to their deaths. When his health is partially depleted, his heart will be exposed, and it must be destroyed, or else he will use Earth and Fury to wipe out the party. Titan can also encase players in stone to incapacitate them, and their allies must destroy the stone to free them. The Shadowbringers incarnation of Titan fights in a tiled arena, and various attacks of his will cause these tiles to explode and damage players standing on them. Titan can also convert the construct on his back into a vehicle and drive around the arena, dealing fatal damage to anyone he runs over and knocking back players in his wake. In the Savage version of the raid, Titan will eventually transform into Titan Maximum, becoming much larger and towering over the arena. In this form, Titan gains new attacks, including Tectonic Uplift, which temporarily raises some of the tile platforms, which variably affects how players deal with his other damage mechanics depending on the elevation. Titan in Final Fantasy XV is one of the 6 Astrals, the gods of Eos, and is also known as the Archean and the Land Forger. In ancient times, when a meteor almost struck the planet, Titan manifested and caught it, reducing the damage of its impact. Since then he has slept on the Disk of Karthus, still holding the meteor on his back, and the occasional tremors in the region are attributed to his snores. During the events of the game, Lunafreya visits Titan and asks him to grant his power to Noctis, and Titan begins calling Noctis to him with visions. Noctis and his allies eventually visit Titan as the Niflheim Empire attacks him, and Titan combats both of them while still holding up the meteor, using one hand and his feet to attack. Eventually Noctis proves himself to Titan and forms a covenant with him, and Titan dissipates along with the meteor. In the story, he is summoned in Altissia to fight Leviathan, and then to protect Noctis and Lunafreya from Niflheim, and in the Royal Edition joins the other Astrals in dispelling a barrier Arden has erected around Insomnia's citadel. Titan can be summoned in most inland locations, but not near the ocean or inside dungeons. He attacks with Gaia's Wrath, which depicts him either picking Noctis up and then punching the ground to create a massive shockwave, or lifting a large boulder and throwing it at the target. Titan has a unique summon animation if called against the Adamantras, where he delivers several punches to the giant before using Gaia's Wrath. Titan was intended to appear in the episode Du Sky demo, but was removed because its battle was deemed too important a story event to spoil. Through glitches to get out of bounds, players can find a lower quality version of his model. The Titan battle was also used as the basis for another demo at E3 2016 and the San Diego Comic-Con of that year, and players who were able to destroy his arm received a t-shirt. Titan was one of the first icons revealed in the first trailer for Final Fantasy XVI, fighting Shiva in what would become the game's introductory sequence. Titan is the icon of Hugo Kupka, a member of the Dhalmekian Republic. After Clive kills Hugo's lover, Benedicta, he swears vengeance against him. Eventually, Hugo attacks Clive's homeland of Rosaria to lure him out and engages him in the throne room of his childhood home. Clive defeats Hugo, slices off his hands, and absorbs part of Titan's power, but Hugo is spirited away by Harbard before Clive can finish him off. Halberd brings Hugo to his homeland's Mother Crystal, Drake's Fang, and convinces him he can regain his power from the Mother Crystal. Hugo goes to the Mother Crystal and absorbs ether from it, restoring his power and transforming him into Titan, where he regenerates his hands. Though Clive once again defeats him in the form of Ifrit, Titan eats part of the Mother Crystal, transforming into the monstrous Titan Lost. Ifrit destroys Titan Lost and splits it in two, and the original Titan emerges and engages Ifrit in a final hand-to-hand battle as they fall through the body. In the aftermath of the battle, Titan is thrown away and reverts to Hugo, who petrifies from such an exhaustive use of his power. Titan is gained as an icon for Clive to channel after the first battle with Hugo. Its iconic feat is Titanic Block, which manifests a stone arm to block attacks and open enemies for counterattacks. Its abilities are Raging Fists, which deals rapid punches and can block attacks, Wind Up, which delivers a massive punch forward, and Upheaval, which slams stone fists into the ground to create a shockwave. Its ultimate ability is Earth and Fury, which creates explosive waves of earth that launch enemies into the air. As Titan's dominant, Hugo manifests its power over Earth in stone armor covering his limbs, which he uses to shield himself and to augment his fighting style of melee blows. He can also attack using various shockwaves and columns of earth conjured through the ground. He fights similarly when transformed into Titan, though obviously much larger. As Titan Lost, he uses his sheer size to punch at Ifrit, and also possesses tentacles of stone that he uses to swipe and stab at him. Titan has appeared in many spin-off titles, typically as the primary summon of Earth. He has appeared in Tactics, Dimensions, Dimensions 2, Explorers, Theatrhythm, and more. As previously mentioned, in some of these titles he overlaps with Golem, either in abilities or appearance. Final Fantasy Type 0 directly classifies Titan as a type of Golem Eidolon, and is able to use Megaton Punch, Ancient's Wrath, and Gaia Stampede. World of Final Fantasy depicts Titan as a being made of stone, possessing the abilities Geocrush, Throw Stone, and Gaia's Wrath. It has an alternate variant, Iron Muscles, which looks identical to Titan but with yellow coloration. In Final Fantasy Record Keeper, Titan is the rank 6 Magicite boss. He uses several attacks with the prefix Gaia's, and will regularly summon an earthen wall that absorbs damage against him. Only attacks that deal at least 50,000 damage can hurt the earthen wall, and players have 5 turns to destroy it, or Titan will use an attack that wipes out the party. In Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, players are alerted that Titan is a sealed Esper, whose seal is weakening, causing earthquakes in the region. They arrive in Titan's lair just as he awakens, and furious at the continued crimes of humanity, he attacks them. When he is defeated, he calms down and agrees to aid the party against those harming the land. Thank you to everyone for watching. Remember to like and subscribe for more lore of Final Fantasy in the future, and stop by the community tab on my channel to vote on the next subject.